Can you
Hey,
hear
is
me?
it?
No? Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yeah,
Hi, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay,
How's,
good.
how's it going, Mr. Seguin? Is it pronounced?
Seguin.
Seguin.
Yeah.
Ah, my French accent is non-existent, so I don't know if I'll be able to pronounce that.
No worries. You could call me Derek. It's probably easier.
All right. So,
Where, where are you? Where are you?
I'm Eastern United States in Maryland.
Okay.
How about you? Are you up in like the Montreal area or?
That's right. I'm in Montreal. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So,
Yeah.
so thank you for coming on this interview. So as people know, you played the role of Centurion. Do you remember that pretty well? I know it was like 4-ish years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just putting on the headphones here. There we go.
All right.
Do I remember? I vaguely remember it. I remember I got called after that one. I got another job at Ubisoft, and I did like a whole half a day of recording, and I think I got fired.
You got fired.
Yeah, well, the character was supposed to have a French accent, but French from France, and I didn't. They didn't like what I was doing.
Oh, they're like, this guy's fake French and kicked you out.
And but Centurion, I remember there was something like I did something in the audition. I think the fact that I took Latin in school for 4 years
Oh, snap. So,
gave me an edge.
so that actually, that pretty much answers my first question, actually. So you auditioned for the role of Centurion?
Yeah,
All right. And I'm guessing they liked what they heard, and that's where you ended up today? Or that's where
I
you ended up
guess.
on there?
yeah. Yeah.
The other question was, you obviously, since you took 4 years of Latin in high school, or?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah.
So 20 years prior to the show coming, to the video game coming out, but yeah.
All right, that's fair enough. So, like, did they have any like coaches there to help you out, and maybe unrust you a little bit?
He wasn't in. He definitely wasn't in the room. No, they had a coach, but he had just. They had a coach, I think he was a Latin studies professor from some European university, who had read out most of the lines that I had to do. He read them out.
So he
And
read
he
them
would
out,
give-
and you just.
And they
Like,
would give me
repronounced them?
earphones to listen to. Yeah, like if I fucked something up, they would say, no, this is how you do it. And he would say like, I'm trying to think of one of the. He would go etiam, and he's like etiam, like, you're going at the store. I don't know. He would like give you examples on how like phonetically, he would give you phonetic kind of tricks on how to nail the pronunciation.
That's pretty cool.
Well, because Latin is a dead language, right? There's nobody that speak Latin for over 1,000 years, except
True.
in church, right? Like in church, and who knows if they're pronouncing it right? It's not like somebody's. Hey, that's not. What's that dialect? That sounds like it's from Mesopotamia.
Yeah, nobody can tell you you're wrong.
That's it. So
Yeah.
this guy was he was the foremost expert on it, but it was So I remember if I did something they didn't like hear, they would hit in my earphone. They would play this guy from the university would try to help me phonetically with it, but it was a pre-recorded thing.
That's pretty
And
cool.
And I guess he had a voice like somebody with a pickle in their mouth. Why wouldn't they just get him? If he's so good, why wouldn't they just get him to do it? But he wasn't an actor, I guess.
Hey man, I'm glad they got you to do it, cause like, I don't know, that leads into my next question. How did you immerse yourself into the role of Centurion? Cause I noticed a lot of the lines you were screaming at the top of your lungs, sort of. At least it sounded like it. So how'd you really get into that?
From what I remembered, like the game wasn't done yet, so I wasn't really able to see the action that he was doing. It was like, I'm sure you've seen like making of Disney movie and thing like that, where they've kind of got it sketched out, but it's not like all the backgrounds and stuff are not there. So like, when the character run, they had me just kind of running in a void, you know what I mean? It was just like blank, so I'm just this character running. So they were like, try to pant.
Did they have you like replicate the running? Were you just running in place in the studio?
Well, that's what I said. They said, do you need to like jog on the spot or something? And I'm like, no, I could just like touch my toes, and as a smoker, I'll be out of breath just after doing one toe touch, so I'll be great. And they're like, that's perfect, man. Oh, great.
All right.
Turns out running 20 miles in 2000 BC is the same as a pack a day in 2010 or whatever.
And there you go. So, with you being in Montreal, I assume that Ubisoft took you to their studio, or did you like record in a different studio and send it out to them?
No, we did it at their place, at the Ubisoft office.
Oh, so did you get to meet like the devs and stuff?
Probably. The director was there. I actually have a friend that's a director of games there. He didn't do this one, but he's a former comedy guy.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was like 4 people in the room when we were doing it on the other side of the glass. I was alone in the studio, but there was 4 people telling me stuff to do.
Oh, so you didn't meet did you meet any of the other actors or?
No other actors.
Ah, that's fine.
Just the game maker people.
Huh. So was there any shenanigans that went on, or was it just sort of like you're in doing your job and then like, okay, bye?
Well, I'm sure, because I'm a stand-up comedian by trade.
Right.
So I'm sure if you ask them, and if you ask the director and that, there was probably a lot more shenanigan with me in there than with the normal professional voice actor. Like sometimes, you just can't help it. Like some of the images they were making me look at, I'm like, this is silly.
Well,
so
do you remember any of the images?
I just know myself. It would be like they would have me swinging the sword, but the sword wasn't drawn yet. You know, I'm like, look at me swinging my dick, incredibilis, yay!
It's pretty cool.
And they would laugh, and then they shut the hell up. We're paying you a lot of money per hour right now. Stop screwing around.
So would you say this was actually a question that someone asked because they wanted to be a game dev. They didn't know whether they wanted to work for Ubisoft or not. Did they treat you well? Like,
yeah, totally. They're cool people. It was and the office is beautiful. Like to work there, it looked like a really good place to work.
Oh.
Yeah, I have another friend that just came back from Montreal. Actually, he's a former stand-up comedian. I guess you're always a stand-up. Once you are one, you always are. But he started working for them, and they had him in Quebec City. He's writing for them, so it's I guess dialogue and plot development for games. And now he's moved back to Montreal.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is. Seemed like a cool, like someone like you walk in, you don't realize, like you play a video game, then you walk in and there's hundreds of people working in this building that are making video game. You're like, holy shit, this is a whole industry.
All that comes down to you cutting someone's head off in a video game.
Yeah, and then speaking a dead language in a smoker voice.
Yeah, I mean it's as long as it sounds cool, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I'm surprised how it's very popular. I don't play video games.
So what'd you think when the devs showed you the character, like Centurion? Did you have a say in the design, or did they just like, okay, here's this guy, say this and this and this, or did you like have your own input?
Oh, no input, no. Just say these words. And I'm like, okay. I don't, like I said, I don't even play video games, so I thought he looked cool. I thought it was odd that you couldn't see his face, really. So like some of the fan of the game, when they've made little meme with my face in the suit of the guy, I'm like, oh man, that makes sense that he looked like that.
Huh.
Handsome Centurion.
That was me that did that.
Nice, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
A lot of people write to me though. I don't know if it's you that let it out that it was me that did the voice. How people even found out that it was me, but I often, like at least once a week, somebody write to me making mention of that. Like even on my stand-up video,
Oh,
I'll get comment on YouTube, and it'll be like, instead of "Hey, nice show" or "Good show," it'll be like "Incredibilis." I'm like, oh, I guess these are video game fans, I guess.
yeah, I'm partially to blame for that, because it's gotten to the point, ever since you were made known, I kind of look back at those videos, and I noticed Incredibilis on like 100 comments probably, and I'm like, oh gosh, what have I done? Did I go too far?
And there's a nickname that have "Daddy" in it too. What's that?
I had nothing to do with that.
Daddy Centurion or something like that. Roman Daddy, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with that.
Right.
I mean, like, people love you in the community, so I take it you have an idea of like the icon you've become.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, it came out of nowhere, and people know me for that. I don't know. I don't even. How did you even find out it was me? Is there credits in the video game?
Actually, no, and I was like thinking of messaging Ubisoft about that, because like none of like you and the other DLC actors for the characters that were added later in the game, none of you are in the credits. It's all like the original actors and stuff. And I found out by a voice actor video, and it wasn't a comment, but it was a reply to a comment where it's like, does anybody know what the voice actor of Centurion is? And another comment reply was this guy. He's like, oh yeah, I work for Ubisoft, and it's his name is Derek Seguin. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I'm gonna confirm that real quick, and then that's about the time I messaged you on Twitter for the first time, and you're like, oh wow, it was him.
Yeah. Wow. And is he a pretty kick-ass character in the game?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, like, aesthetically, heck yeah. He was really powerful in the beginning. They kind of made him less powerful because, you know, he was kicking too much ass, but like...
Oh, really? Thought so? He was unbeatable kind of thing. And they had to take away power? That must suck when people have chosen him as their guy.
Yeah.
And they take away his power?
Yeah, everyone still loves him, though. So on to questions more about you. What made you choose to be a comedian?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Do you actually choose it? It's, I know when I tried it the first time, it was kind of like just a lark and looking for, just looking for a hobby or something. And I just fell in love with it right away.
You're like, you know what, I'm gonna entertain these people. And they're like, wow, this guy's actually funny. You're like,
yeah, but then I just kept doing it. At first, you don't make any money, really. Like, there's certainly not a lot of money. And then there came a point where I was getting more popular and getting festival and TV and thing.
right.
And then I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make a go of it and try to make it, try to do nothing but this. And then it's necessity, right? You have 3 kids, and
Oh yeah.
you have no choice. So I did. When I first started doing it professionally, I just did every show there was. But like I was averaging maybe $50 to $100 a show. But I did, 300 of them a year, and then, eventually
It added up.
you make enough money to support people. And now it's going great. I can't even believe how good it goes. That's why probably this pandemic is the universe's way of saying, whoa, little dick joke guy. Maybe we should tone down how easy your life is.
Yeah, I assume it's got to be like hindering.
Yeah, well,
this
there's
pandemic right now.
In Canada anyway. I don't know how. I know in the state it works state by state, but in Canada there are provincial provincial provision that being put in place. But basically, coast to coast right now, we have a stay-at-home order in place.
Yeah,
where we can only leave to pick up grocery and things like that. So basically, in my country, it's illegal for 5 people or more to be in the same place. That's not very good for a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I assume so.
Our whole economy is based on gathering people together, right? And
yeah. So you mentioned that you have 3 kids, and I've noticed that in your routines, you're not afraid to use vulgarity. Do they know of your routines, or do they just know, like, oh yeah, my dad's a funny comedian?
Yeah, no, they think I'm a plumber. Yeah, no, they I mean, the younger one doesn't see everything, but she's 14 now, so she's starting to see things more and more. So yeah, they know what I talk about. Some of it, they're like, oh, come on, don't tell people that. And other things, like when I talk about my girlfriend, they're like, oh, gross, don't wanna. Like, no kid wants to ever, think about their parents sexualized. So
Right.
they could do without that. That's probably why they don't clamor to come to my shows ever. They're always like, oh God, I don't want to see that.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, but they're aware. They're aware of what I do, and they're actually everybody, and my girlfriend and my kid are all very good about. They're a good sport about letting me talk about them. I think because they even know how lucky are we that Dad goes out for 45 minutes, every 5 or 6 days, and we have enough money to live from his stupid dick jokes. And they're probably saying like, who the hell wants to hear about this fat bastard's dick? But whatever, if it pays for the KFC.
Hey man, as long as it works.
Right.
As well as being a comedian, so obviously you do acting. What made you want to do acting?
That's fun. I actually caught the acting bug first. I was like, when I quit my job, it was to become a full-time actor. I'd gotten cast in a couple of plays as the lead, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a talented actor. This is amazing. But then dry spells happen, right? Especially when you start getting into film and television.
Right.
And let's be honest, I was 30-year-old at the time. I was in the richest sort of pool of talent, right? Like just average height, average looking white guy. There's a lot of us. So you have to, if you don't have that specific thing that they're looking for, it's tough. So I was not, I think since then, so that's 15 years, I've been trying to I've been making a go out of it in show business. And I think my biggest year, I maybe made $15,000 acting.
Oh, snap.
So it was a good thing that I had comedy to fall back on.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So you said you don't play video games, so I'm just, I'll skip out on that question.
Well, I have played them, but I've not played For Honor, though.
Oh. All right. Do you have did you play enough to have a favorite, or is it just like, oh yeah, I played like once or twice?
I got a kick out of those Call of Duty ones.
Oh yeah.
But then I played, like, I have an addictive personality too, so I got addicted, and I'm playing, and I finished the game, whatever. And then I discovered the online thing there, where you could play with other people.
Yeah.
And I think, after playing 2 or 3 days of that, thinking I was really good, and then you're playing, like, I hear these, like, 13-year-old boys in the background, they're not even using guns anymore. They just sneak up behind me and cut my throat, and I'm like, I suck at this. I've got fucking grenade and rocket launcher SC with huge machine gun, and I can't find where he is, and he's just stabbing me every time. It was frustrating. But
yeah, it takes a bit to get used to.
Yeah, I don't have it. It's my own kids too would be. They would, come on, play one more game. I won't even use my gun. And again, they're just stabbing me to death when I've got all these weapons. I'm like, this sucks. Kept getting confused. Like you're spinning around and trying to see where the person is. And anyway, yeah. So that's kind of when I stopped playing, when I realized how bad I was at it.
Wow, fair enough. So what kind of other hobbies do you have?
Smoking and drinking, are those hobbies?
I guess. Is it? I guess in Canada.
No,
I mean, here too, but like, I don't know if it's more prominent in Canada, but.
Hobbies. I play hockey. My kids,
snap,
I guess,
me too.
are a hobby.
What position do you play?
I'm a defensive forward, so like left wing.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I'll play the point on, but I only play with like pickup hockey now. So I play for 20 seconds and then hack up along on the bench is basically my position.
How long have you played for?
Since I was a little kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I should have figured,
but
every Canadian.
Yeah, right. It's kind of a rite of passage. But lately, my hobby has been a lot of just home improvement. Like I'm working on my house,
Oh,
changing things, like building things.
that's cool.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you enjoy?
I like most everything, but instinctively, when I like turn on the Alexa or whatever, I'll be asking for 70s music. I like 70s rock right now. I'm in a phase where I like the 70s rock.
Ah, yeah. It's do you have a certain favorite song? Cause I've gotten into that a little bit recently as well.
Favorite song? Wow, that's a lot of that too. People are bored right now during the isolation, like all these lists on the Facebook and all that.
Yeah, so like
I
some
don't know.
music. I'm not
I
doing
don't know
nothing.
if I have a favorite song. I like so much music that picking one song. I mean, I'm sure over the year I've had several, and then you play it so much that you fucking hate the song. I mean, play
Yeah, that's
play the hell out of it.
yeah. All right, that's fair. All right, so we're here's some questions that are sort of just for fun,
Sure.
kind of to end it off. Someone asked, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes with real Quebecois maple syrup, of course.
I think I've been to the few times I've been to Canada. I went up to Nova Scotia. We passed this weird gift shop there. They had this maple syrup that was the best I've ever had in my life, and I
Yeah,
can see it. I don't know if it's the same
real,
kind, but something
real,
about Canada maple syrup.
real Canadian maple syrup. There's actually a show on Netflix. It's a series called Dirty Money. You've got a bunch of interesting things on there, but one of them is about the biggest heist in Canadian history, and it was a warehouse of maple syrup they stole, I think, $68 million worth of maple syrup.
Oh God,
Very interesting to watch,
that's
to
pretty
show you
great.
like how Canadian is that. That's like it was the biggest robbery in the history of our country. Like nobody had ever stolen $68 million worth of diamonds or cash. It was in value, it was the biggest heist ever executed in Canada.
That's probably one of the most Canadian things I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. It's a series of shorter documentary that like they've got one about Donald Trump and him, and they've got even one whole episode is about Jared Kutcher and his how he's a slumlord in New York and his family like treat people like garbage. It's called
Sounds interesting.
Dirty Money on Netflix. Check out the Quebecois. It's called like the Great Canadian or the Great Maple, the syrup. Something I forget. They have a clever twist to it. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
so pancakes. To answer your question, I don't know how I got into a whole Netflix fucking public service announcement, but whatever.
That's fine. So, does your personality as Centurion ever surface in your daily life, or is it far gone? Or, like, was it ever, like, recently when you finished recording with Ubisoft?
Uh, I guess, I mean, like any actor, some of you come out in the thing. So my enthusiasm, I do tend to oversell stuff. I know that Incredibilis thing had a little flare of enthusiasm that I carry over in other things. Like last night we were playing, the card game Asshole.
No.
No, it's just this card game. Well, when I went, and there's the hierarchy, whatever. There's president, vice president, secretary. We were playing 5, so there's janitor and then asshole.
I did not know that about
So
that.
I went from asshole to president. I'll tell you, there was some pretty victorious screaming happening, and I'm just sitting at my table with my kid. So
Cool.
anyway, to answer the question, I mean, my personality, it was like 2 and 3 word phrases that I was doing for the video game, so it's hard to really capture any personality, but I like to
Right.
think that some of the exuberance, anything that anything that's positive about the character, totally my doing, got nothing to do with the writing. Anything negative, it's all the video game makers.
Sounds good to me. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how incredibilis are you feeling? This one was
I'm,
strongly requested.
I'm gonna say a full-on 10 incredibilis right now because I was sick for like 8 days and I was worried that I had the corona and everything, and turned out it was just walking pneumonia. But for the last 4 or 5 days, I've been feeling 100% tip-top shape. It's beautiful. I'm going outside for walks now. It's great. I feel great right now.
That's
10 on
great.
10. Thank you so much for asking.
No problem. So, how many times did it get the perfect yell when you were recording Centurion, if you remember?
I don't remember ever having to do any particular line more than like 3 or 4 times. And because I think almost every one of them too needed to have several different levels, right? Like for a big win or a big kill or like just different level of enthusiasm. Like when you're, just a small victory, you would be going incredibilis, yeah, or whatever. And then the big one, like at the summit of the battle or whatever, they would want that third highest level. Same with the grunting, like they would have me panting in a jog and then like a run and full on sprint and the end of a sprint. But I remember it was pretty efficient. We got it all done in I think 1 session, maybe 2 sessions.
Dang.
Yeah, they were happy. They seemed happy. I mean, I haven't done 1,000 video game, but they seemed like I was pretty efficient. They were happy with the speed at which we got it all finished.
Nice. Do you remember doing any lines in English, or was it all like Latin? Because I know Centurion has some English lines, and it sounds like you a little, but I'm not quite sure.
I don't remember actually.
Huh.
No, I don't remember if there was any English one. I know that I actually got a little bit in trouble. I got slapped on the wrist because apparently there was a second packet or something for the game, and I didn't do the voice for the second the update or whatever. And people were like, "Hey, why didn't you do the voice for the second update or whatever?" And I was like, "I don't know. They didn't ask me." And people were like, "Fuck you, Ubisoft! Why didn't you ask Derek?" And I'm like, whoa. They were like, "Man, we're getting in big shit. Tell Derek to stop talking about us."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't mean to stoke the fire. I was just like, if they would have asked me, I probably would have done it.
Did Ubisoft like tell you themselves like stop talking about us?
They went through my agent. Yeah, tell them to stop responding to those things. So
Oh,
I'll
wow.
probably get a call. Stop talking about it in interviews too, you dickhead.
Well, I'm sure it's all behind us now. They ended up scrapping it, so you're still there.
Right. But they've never called me. I've never had another audition for another game since then.
Oh,
So
well.
yeah. So what do I have to listen to them for?
All right, fair enough. So, this one was probably one of the most requested. Yeah, not the most, but one of the most. What are some classic swears in French, and can you do some swears in Centurion's voice? Like, just cuss anything out in Centurion's voice. What does that mean?
That's the trifecta of Québécois swears. It means to explain it makes it sound stupid, but in French, when we swear about Jesus things.
All right.
It's all Jesus accessories. So hostie mean, the little chip that you get at church?
Yeah.
Hostie. And calice, it's the cup, the chalice. Right. And tabarnak is the tabernacle where we put all the gear at the end of the show.
Oh.
So those are all swear words. I know for English people it's weird, but I don't know why, but that's how Québécois people chose to swear. It was historically, we were a very Catholic society. So to be the bad boy, I guess you had to say religious things and be like, "Oh, you're bad, you're going to hell."
Look at me, I can say Jesus things.
Yeah. Like everything. You name a Jesus accessory, like Chris, it means like saying Jesus Christ, you say Chris. Or you say, even I don't know how up you are on your theology, but the mount where Jesus was crucified, I think, is called Calvary in English. So in French, you say Calvaire, and it's like more of one of the minor swears.
Fair enough. What do you think? What do you think is probably like the worst one to say in French?
Tabarnak for sure.
Oh gosh.
Tabarnak.
Huh. When they nothing more serious than the tabernacle.
No, nothing more serious than the golden box.
All right. So, to end off the interview here, there was actually a lot of people that were asking you to say things rather than asking actual questions. To the point where I'm like, all right. I go for actual questions. I know he's like the icon, but I did put in some of the requests. Now you don't have to say these, but someone asked you to say Roma Invicta in Centurion's voice. If you want to say that. If you don't want to, that's fine.
In Centurion's voice, so like this would be basically my voice sounding more angry, I guess. What did you want to say?
Roma Invicta, like unconquered Rome.
Okay. How would we do that? Roma Invicta.
Nice. Other than that, I think that should conclude it for the interview. So thank you for accepting and coming to talk with me.
Thank you, man. Thanks for being fans. Everybody that's listening, thank you for liking what I did.
Sweet.
4 years ago. Feel free to send money. We can't work.
All right.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
When are you going to be putting it out?
Probably within the week, next few days. I'll definitely send it to you when it's done. But
if you get it out before Friday, if anybody wants to see what my stand-up look like, I'm doing a live online thing on Friday, April 17th.
Sounds good. And where can we see this?
Through my website, there's a bunch of different ways to see. Like I'm gonna do some Zoom, some YouTube live.
I will be sure to put your website in the description so people can check that out and check you out. And
sweet, thanks, buddy.
No problem. All right, so I hope this whole quarantine thing blows over soon, so you can get back to your thing. And
me too.
Thank you so much for being on here, and I'll see you later, man.
Thank you, man. Nice talking to you.
You too. Later.